Well, I'll be in my office in the event that a patient should choose to darken our door.
I'm going on a vacation.
You are what?
My check came in.
What are you talking about? What check?
From our corporation.
You have a corporation?
The Indians do.
The Indians have a corporation? $5,000?
Uh-huh.
How? I mean, where does this come from?
Different things. Oil, timber, mutual funds.
How often do you get these?
Every 6 months.
Twice a year? Twice a year you get a check for $5,000?
Sometimes less. Mutual funds did well this quarter.
$5,000?
I'm going to Seattle.
What?
The gateway to Alaska. I want an adventure. Come in.
Hello, Marilyn.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
I brought you a few things for your trip. See, despite not having any money, I've actually done a fair amount of traveling, and I thought that you could benefit from my experience. See, unless you have someone to tell you, there are just certain things that you wouldn't know about. Oh, you're all packed, huh? Okay. This is a neck pillow, believe it or not, for the plane, okay? It's inflatable, and it secures your head so that when you're in an upright position, you can sleep better, okay? Here we have Bazooka Joe. This will neutralize the pressure on your inner ear, okay? It's a popping that you'll feel when you take off and when you land. It's a good thing. All right, now this is very important. This is a money belt, all right? Now, you put your traveler's checks in here, right? And this way, if your purse gets snatched, God forbid, you won't lose all your money, okay? You did get traveler's checks, didn't you?
No.
Look, muggers, okay? They smell cash on people. They do. They sniff it out and they lock on, all right? With traveler's checks, you can get your funds replaced.
I want an adventure.
Yes, I know you do. You deserve it, I understand, but it should be a safe one that you can enjoy, don't you think? I mean, just going to a big city is an adventure. And I know, granted, Seattle is not New York. I mean, I wouldn't even let you go to New York by yourself. I wouldn't. But still, these urban problems and dangers, they go on everywhere. I mean, even me. I mean, look, I'm born and bred in a city, and even I can be vulnerable to it. One time, I'm walking along Riverside Drive. It's like 10 p.m., okay? And these two guys are coming to my direction on the other side of the street. Well, they cross over, and, I mean, my radar should have gone off, but, you know, who knows? I could have been thinking about the Munch exhibit at the Met, and, well, they had a screwdriver. And the next thing I know, they have my wallet and my watch. And I'm not telling you this to alarm you. You will have a very fine time. I mean, you will, if you just follow a few simple rules. Now, the first one is, number one, okay? Don't look anyone in the eye. Like that. Don't. It's a challenge. I don't know. It's like a primal thing. And a lot of these city dwellers, they exist on a very rudimentary and primal level. Okay, and look, excuse me, something like this. If you insist on carrying a purse like this, loop the strap around your wrist, like so, okay, and hold it close to your body, okay?
Okay.
Okay, here. Oh, I've arranged for a town car to meet you at the airport. Yeah, and you're booked into a very nice and it's reasonably priced and centrally located hotel. The concierge, Miss Schroeder, okay? So, I guess that's it. Also, why don't you give me a call when you get there, okay? No need to thank me. I mean, I think as your employer, I'd be remiss if I didn't concern myself with your welfare. Ah, okay. Just promise me that you'll do what I told you.
I want an adventure.
Fleischman? Hey, Fleischman. I need your signature for these syringes and stuff.
All right.
Did you meet that new teacher, Jane?
No.
Not that she's your type. She flew support in Desert Storm. Besides, she's smart and beautiful and just the kind of woman that would intimidate you.
Oh, well, good for her.
What's wrong with you, Fleischman? You seem bitter and surly today. What happened? Did you lose a golf ball?
If you must know, it's Marilyn.
Marilyn?
She's gone.
She went to Seattle, right?
Ostensibly, but the driver said that she never showed.
Driver? What driver?
The one that I hired to meet her at the airport.
So what's the big deal?
What's the big deal? This is a woman who hasn't ventured outside of a 200-mile radius of Sicily, Alaska. She gets on a plane, she flies alone into a major urban metropolis where she neither meets her driver nor checks into her hotel. That's the big deal.
She's a grown woman, Fleischman.
Oh, boy.
What?
This is Marilyn we're talking about. She's not like you or me. She hasn't been hardened or desensitized by urban life. I just never should have let her go.
Oh, what? Just because she hasn't been raised in the concrete jungle of New York doesn't mean she can't survive a weekend away from home?
Let me remind you what happens to unsuspecting people in a city. They get beaten senseless over bus fare. They get pushed in front of subway cars. They get...
Fleischman, all Seattle has is a monorail.
Wow, this is really chilling.
What?
You.
Me?
Like, the veil's been lifted. The mask just ripped from your face. For the first time, I see your true self. And it's cold. I mean, you were so cold and you were so bleak.
This is endearing, Fleischman. Really, this misplaced paternalistic concern?
I feel like I'm talking to an ice cube.
I can almost believe you're a human being. Almost. Not quite.
Well, would you please do me a favor and make sure that she calls me as soon as she gets in? You got that? What's your name? Ted. All right, Ted, I am writing that down, and I expect her to call, and I'm holding you responsible. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Fleischman.
Ed, jeez. Why do you sneak up on people like that?
Sorry, Dr. Fleischman. Are you going through Marilyn's things?
No, of course not. I was looking for a stamp.
Huh. Well, I brought your office supplies. And Ruth Ann let me be sure and tell you, she got in a case of King Oscar sardines.
Ed, let me ask you something. If you went to the trouble to organize someone's vacation, right, to ensure that it was safe and enjoyable and worry-free, I mean, is it unreasonable to expect a phone call? A simple, I've arrived, everything's fine, thank you. I mean, is that too much to ask?
Marilyn hasn't called yet.
No, she hasn't. I mean, here, I book her into a nice hotel with a 24-hour doorman, and the desk tells me that she hasn't even checked in.
Maybe her plane was late.
Touchdown 5 minutes early, and she was on it, because I have a positive identification from the flight attendant.
Well, I wouldn't worry, Dr. Fleischman.
Well, I am not worried. I just think that after all the trouble that I have gone through, the least she could do is acknowledge my efforts.
Well, I'm sure she's fine.
I told you I'm not worried. What I am is I'm irritated. And besides, how am I supposed to treat patients if I'm busy answering the phone and covering the front office here?
Well, there's no one here, Dr. Fleischman.
That's got nothing to do with it. Marilyn was grossly irresponsible for leaving, and she doesn't even have the decency to call me and tell me that she's okay.
She goes on vacation to a strange city, grabs the wrong bag, and before she knows it, she's kidnapped by ruthless arms dealers who would as soon slit her throat as let her go. Frantic. Roman Polanski, 1988. I'll see you, Dr. Fleischman.